Imagine a funeral pyre. The flames lick the sky, smoke chokes the air, but this is no ordinary cremation. Atop the wood, a woman is engulfed in flames. She is alive. This is Sati Pratha. This was the brutal reality for countless women in India and Nepal for centuries. Sati, meaning virtuous woman in Sanskrit, was expected to die alongside her husband. Her life, bound to his, ended with his final breath. She was not given a choice. Society dictated her fate. The practice was barbaric. It was murder disguised as ritual. Women were coerced, drugged, and forced onto their husbands' pyres. Those who resisted were often bound and thrown into the inferno. The origins of sati are shrouded in the mists of time. Some scholars trace it back to ancient scriptures, while others argue it emerged later. Regardless, by the 7th century CE, sati was a horrifying reality, particularly among the ruling classes. For centuries, the practice continued unabated. Kings and commoners alike forced women onto the pyre. The year 1829 marked a turning point. The British, then rulers of India, outlawed sati. This was a monumental step, but the fight was far from over. Even after India gained independence in 1947, sati persisted. It took the horrific death of Rup Kanwar in 1987 to truly galvanize the nation against this brutal custom. Her story, a stark reminder of the horrors of the past, forced India to confront its demons. Why would any woman willingly choose such a gruesome death? The answer lies in the complex interplay of culture, religion, and societal pressure. Sati was glorified as the ultimate act of wifely devotion. A woman who became sati was venerated, even worshipped. But beneath this veneer of piety lay a darker truth. Widows were often seen as burdens, their lives deemed worthless without their husbands. Families, eager to rid themselves of this perceived burden, often pressured women into sati. Refusal meant ostracism, poverty, and a life on the fringes of society. The pressure to conform was immense. Choosing life meant choosing isolation. For many women, death seemed the only escape. Rup Kanwar was just 18 when her husband died. She was young, barely an adult. Yet on that fateful day in 1987, she was forced onto his funeral pyre. Her death, witnessed by hundreds, sent shockwaves across India and the world. Some claimed it was a voluntary act, that Rup went willingly into the flames. But eyewitness accounts painted a different picture. They spoke of coercion, of Rup being drugged and dragged to the pyre. Her screams, they said, echoed through the village. The case sparked outrage and ignited a national debate. It forced India to confront the ugly reality of sati, a practice many believed had been relegated to the history books. Rup's death, though tragic, became a catalyst for change. It led to stricter laws and greater awareness. Section 5. Echoes of the past. Sati in the 21st century. We are now in the 21st century, a time of rapid technological advancements and progressive ideologies. Yet some shadows of the past still linger, casting a dark cloud over our present. Sati is illegal in India and Nepal. It is a crime. The governments of both nations have taken stringent measures to ensure that this practice is eradicated. Laws have been enacted, and law enforcement agencies are vigilant. Yet the echoes of this barbaric practice linger. The historical weight of sati is not easily shrugged off. It is embedded in the cultural memory, a haunting reminder of a time when women's lives were deemed expendable. While instances of actual sati are rare, the societal pressures and cultural beliefs that fueled it persist. These pressures manifest in various forms, from subtle social cues to overt discrimination, making it difficult for widows to lead normal lives. Widows in certain parts of India and Nepal still face discrimination. They're often seen as inauspicious, blamed for their husbands' deaths, and subjected to various forms of social ostracism. They are often ostracized, denied inheritance rights, and forced to live a life of poverty and solitude. The economic hardships they face are compounded by the emotional and psychological toll of being marginalized. The mindset that views widows as burdens, their lives intertwined with their husbands, remains deeply entrenched. This mindset is a reflection of a patriarchal society that values women primarily in relation to men. The fight against sati is not over. It is a fight against ingrained patriarchy, against a mindset that devalues women. Activists and social reformers continue to work tirelessly to change these deep-seated beliefs. It is a fight against ingrained patriarchy, against a mindset that devalues women. This struggle is not just about abolishing a practice, but about transforming societal attitudes and ensuring that women are treated with the dignity and respect they deserve. It is a fight for equality, for the right of every woman to live a life free from fear and oppression. The journey is long, but with continued effort and awareness, a future where women are truly equal can be realized. Section 6, Beyond the Flames, examining widowhood in India and Nepal. To truly understand the legacy of Sati, we must look beyond the flames of the pyre. We must examine the lives of widows in India and Nepal, the challenges they face, and the discrimination they endure. Widowhood in many traditional communities is seen as a curse. Widows are often blamed for their husbands' deaths. They're considered inauspicious. Their presence a harbinger of bad luck. This societal stigma follows them like a shadow, impacting every aspect of their lives. Many widows are denied basic rights. They are stripped of their inheritance, denied access to education, and forced into menial jobs. Their voices are silenced, their stories untold. It is time to listen to these stories to understand the lived experiences of widows and challenge the prejudices they face. Section 7. The Fight for Change, Abolition and its Aftermath. The abolition of Sati was a long and arduous battle, marked by intense debates, social upheaval, and the relentless efforts of reformers who envisioned a more humane society. Social reformers, both Indian and British, fought tirelessly to end this barbaric practice. They faced immense resistance from traditionalists who viewed sati as a sacred duty, but their determination never wavered. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, a prominent 19th century reformer, was instrumental in bringing about the ban in British India. His eloquent arguments and passionate advocacy highlighted the moral and ethical imperatives for abolishing sati. But the fight didn't end there. The abolition of sati was just the beginning of a broader movement aimed at transforming societal attitudes and practices. Laws alone cannot change deeply ingrained social norms. The eradication of such practices required a fundamental shift in the collective consciousness of society. It took decades of activism, education, and awareness campaigns to challenge the mindset that made sati possible. Reformers organized lectures, published pamphlets, and engaged in grassroots efforts to educate the masses. Even today, organizations continue to work towards the upliftment of widows, providing them with legal aid, education, and economic opportunities. These efforts are crucial in ensuring that the injustices of the past are not repeated. The abolition of sati is a testament to the power of human resilience and the unwavering spirit of those who refuse to accept injustice. It serves as a powerful reminder of what can be achieved when people come together for a common cause. It is a reminder that progress is possible, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. The legacy of the abolition movement continues to inspire and guide efforts towards social justice and equality in contemporary times. Section 8. A Shared History, Connections to Jauhar and Beyond. Sati, while horrific, was not an isolated practice. It was part of a larger web of customs and traditions that sought to control women's bodies and lives. Jauhar, the mass self-immolation of women during wartime, is a chilling example. Faced with the prospect of capture and dishonor, women, often encouraged by their families, would choose death over captivity. They would jump into a burning pyre, sacrificing their lives to protect their honor. Like Sati, Jauhar was glorified as an act of courage and sacrifice. Both Sati and Jauhar highlight the societal pressures that women faced, the lack of agency, and the limited choices available to them. By understanding these interconnected practices, we gain a deeper understanding of the historical context and the urgent need to challenge gender inequality. Section 9, A Call to Remember, Honoring the Victims and Fighting for Justice. The story of Sati is a story of tragedy, of lives lost, and of unimaginable suffering. It is a dark chapter in the history of India and Nepal, where countless women were forced to sacrifice their lives on the funeral pyres of their husbands. This practice, rooted in deep-seated patriarchal norms, stripped women of their autonomy and reduced them to mere possessions. It is a story that needs to be told, not to sensationalize the past, but to honor the memory of the countless women who were sacrificed on the altar of patriarchy. These women, whose names and faces have been lost to history, deserve to be remembered. Their stories are a testament to the resilience and strength of women who, even in the face of unimaginable suffering, held on to their dignity. We must remember their stories not just as tales of horror, but as a call to action. Their sacrifices should serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked patriarchy and the importance of fighting for gender equality. By remembering them, we acknowledge the injustices of the past and commit to building a better future. The fight for gender equality is far from over. Despite the progress that has been made, women in many parts of the world continue to face discrimination, violence, and oppression. In India and Nepal, as well as in many other countries, women are still fighting for their rights, for their voices to be heard, and for their lives to be valued equally. Women in India, Nepal, and around the world continue to face discrimination, violence, and oppression. They are often denied access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. They are subjected to harmful practices and are often silenced when they speak out against injustice. This ongoing struggle highlights the need for continued advocacy and action. Let us honor the victims of Sati and Jauhar by working towards a future where every woman is free to live a life of dignity, equality, and respect. Let us celebrate the progress that has been made, but also recognize the work that still needs to be done. By standing together and supporting one another, we can create a world where every woman is valued and respected. Let their stories be a beacon, guiding us towards a more just and equitable world. Their legacy is not just one of suffering, but of strength and resilience. By remembering them, we honor their lives and commit to continuing the fight for justice and equality for all women.